I'm just going to start now, and if you can tell me who you are and a little bit about yourself.
Hi, this is John Smythe from Engage for Change. I've spent a lifetime in communication and employee engagement.
Okay. Now you're writing a new book. Can you tell us what it's about?
Yes. I'm writing a new book which is provisionally titled The Velvet Revolution at Work, The Rise of Employee Engagement, the Demise of Command and Control. What it's about is the liberalisation in the workplace, the move away from top-down command and control-led change and strategy to a much more inclusive approach to engaging many more people in the process of renewal of strategy and change. That's broadly the argument. And the hypothesis is that the old contract between employer and employees has broken down. That contract is the one where I give my loyalty in exchange for security. The deal is bust because there is no security to be had anymore, therefore people are unwilling to trade their loyalty and are moving around much more than they used to.
Right. They're
also demanding to be involved now in the decision-making process of their employees in a way that they would never have challenged before. And unless employers give people that say, day to day, and in big-ticket change, that they will feel that they're not really part of it, and they'll go to somewhere else where they do feel part of the process.
Okay. Can you tell me the three main messages you want people to take away from your book?
The three main messages from the coming book. One is that employee engagement is not a program. It's not an HR or a communication program. It is a philosophy of leadership, which says that if we involve the right people, even in cost-cutting, restructuring, as well as growth strategies, we will get much better decisions and much faster results. The important point here is you don't engage after you've done the bad news, you engage in preparing for the bad news so that people are part of it and not victims or spectators to it. So that's the first point. It's not an adjacent program. The second point is that this requires a mindset shift in terms of what leadership is. So leadership used to be about senior people being gods, telling other people what to do. Now it is much more about them being guides and designing the process by which contributions from people, even in very difficult areas like restructuring an economy, are the issue to hand. So the next one is about taking the risk to lead in a much more well-governed and democratic fashion. And the third and final core message of the book is that you need to use a tremendous level of creativity to create the change process that even when it is about bad news, there is a sense of ownership and even possible excitement about being involved. So that the activities that people go through need to be surprising, creative, and in some instances both entertaining and certainly fantastic development for the people who participate.
Okay. Now I put a question on our online platform where I'll be publishing this video about this upcoming discussion and your book about employee engagement. And of course people were talking in general terms, not in specifics.
Yeah.
Now the question, and let's say the big concern people will have, and I think it was expressed by a couple of people, was number one, how can you credibly talk about employee engagement after they've just been through a massive traumatic restructuring where they have actually lost a lot of trust in their leaders, and some of the leaders, as we discussed, might even have done this employee engagement, but then suddenly they have to fire half the team. So how do you do this engagement stuff when you're going through a massive traumatic recession or restructuring?
Well, I think the first thing I'd say is that engagement is not a program that takes place after a challenging period.
Right.
Engagement is a philosophy of leadership, so that as the challenge of downsizing and restructuring starts to emerge, that's the point at which the engagement process needs to kick in, to include those who are going to be affected by this, to include them in the decision-making process. That requires management or leadership to decide what is non-negotiable. It could be we need to cut costs by 40%. It could be the overall strategy is to go in that direction. But that everything else is negotiable and will be better for having the front line contribute to it. As one of the business leaders here in the UK, Alan Leighton, said, when he was running Britain's post office, Royal Mail. It's the what down, the how up. So I may decide that it's the 40% cut, or I may decide that to make a business decision, but I want to get the people who deliver the end result to propose how we do this.
Okay, so I mean, for people who understand it, fair enough that you build it in advance. Now, the point that Sam, for instance, raised on the platform was we're at a crossroads right now. People are rethinking a lot of strategy, rethinking about a lot of decisions with people who are skeptical, who are a little bit concerned. So what do they do right now as a manager, as a leader in an organization? What do you do now?
Well, I'd like to start with what you don't do.
Okay.
I think what you don't do is have a public proclamation about that we're now going to engage you. Terribly sorry about the awful last few months or years, but now it's all going to be different, because you're just going to get complete incredulity and disbelief. I think what you do is you have a real discussion in the executive team that for the forward period, the next year activity, that you are going to practically engage people in what needs to come. And you start to do that. You don't announce it, you just start to do it.
Right.
And people get a sense of, oh, hello, this is different. And the other thing you do is you completely up the ante in terms of the transparency about where we're at in the journey of the organisation. We're working for the UK arm of a French conglomerate at the moment who had a very challenging time. And their journey has gone from survive, recovery, thrive. And people need to see where we are in that journey, and the data that's given for each part of that journey need to be absolutely everything, so that they can trust what is being said to them.
Great.
And trust the invitation to now be involved. So I think it's about not showing off about it, it's about doing it, and about communicating a new reality, so people start to experience a different kind of engagement process within the firm.
Great. Can I put this online?
Yes, sir.
Great, thank you.